Hi, I'm Nicholas from Troop 742, and we're going to make some chicken tacos. So to make these tacos, we're going to need about 2 chicken breasts. We have these thinly sliced, so I got 4. An onion. If you want more, you can always add a little more. Tortillas, we're using corn. Garlic. You guys can use garlic powder if you don't have it freshly minced, or if you have just regular garlic, you can mince it yourself. Then we have chili powder. I'm using 2 types of chili powder because that's what we have. If you want to use one, if you only have one, go ahead. It'll taste the same. Paprika. Pepper. Use fresh ground if you can. We ran out. A little bit of salt. We're using kosher salt. And for the topping, we have a little bit of lemon or lime juice, and then hot sauce of choice. So before you start any of this, you want to wash your hands, especially right now, to prevent yourself from getting sick. So first we're going to chop up the onion. You want to grab yourself a sharp knife, and you want to put 3 fingers under the handle, and use your thumb and your pointer finger to grab the actual blade. This gives you control. So we're going to take 1 medium-ish sized onion, and we're going to chop the ends off. Notice the skin is still on right now. Just going to chop the ends off. And that makes it a whole lot easier to get the skin off. So I'm going to do that real quick and I'll be back to you guys. So I'm going to show you guys the right way to chop an onion. So you want to hold the knife like I told you before. And we're going to take 3 fingers, our middle finger out first, and sort of almost do like a claw thing. And when you're chopping, the knife is going to glide on that middle finger knuckle. Now it's going to make sure that you don't chop your fingers off. So you're going to stabilize the onion with your thumb and your pinky. It takes a little bit of practice, but once you get it, it's easy. And we're just going to chop it in half. Now, from this, we want little small pieces so we can cook them in the frying pan or saute them. So, you don't have to go fast at this. Okay, take your time. Better safe than sorry, you know. So we're just going to make little chops going to the edge of the onion. And notice how I'm not chopping this edge. I'm still leaving room so the onion stays in one piece. These pieces don't have to be super even. And when you get to the end, you can sort of grab it from the other side. Chop it. Now, since this doesn't have to be super fine, we're going to carefully saw it through the middle. And be aware of where your other fingers are. You don't want to have a little accident. And then just like that, we're just going to chop down. Notice how it's in little pieces. And when you get to the edge of the onion, just a little bit of chopping, and it should be fine. Remember, we're not trying to be perfect here. Just get onion so you can cook it down. Now I'm going to do it with the other one. And if you can go fast, good, but if you can't, remember, better safe than sorry. So we have our onions. We're going to set that aside. I'm going to go wash the knife off, and we'll be back with the chicken. We're going to chop up our chicken right now, so we're going to do this one at a time. And we're just going to cut it into like inch wide cubes-ish, you know, like 1 inch by 2 inches. Just like bite-sized, taco-sized. And feel free to go as big or as small as you like. This is just what I'm going to eat. And when we're done, we're just going to lay it on this plate, and we'll flatten it out later so we can season it. It's just little cuts. Doesn't have to be fast. Make sure that your knife is sharp when you're doing this. A sharp knife is actually safer than a dull one because you don't slip and cut yourself. Just little cuts. This one's a little bit wide, so I'm going to chop this one in half down the center. And remember, you want to do this slowly before you do it fast. If your knife is sharp, it'll cut you if you're not careful. And just little cuts like that. Oh, that piece is folded over. Okay, so you're going to flatten out the chicken, and we're going to season it. So remember that when you're done, a knife should either be in your hand or cleaned up and put away. So I'm going to wipe this down with some soap and water, and I'll be back to you. So a good rule of thumb when you're seasoning your meat, the thinner your meat is, the less seasoning you need. And the thicker your meat is, the more seasoning you need. This goes for most cuts of meat, steak especially. So this chicken is really, really thin. So I'm going to use a little bit of salt, like literally just a pinch like that. Sprinkle it over. And then your chicken is seasoned. If you find that it needs more salt in the end, more pepper in the end, go ahead, add something. But you'd rather under-season it than over-season it because you can't take seasoning out. And just a little bit of pepper. Remember, freshly ground is better, but if you don't have it, you know, the pre-ground stuff works just fine. And make sure to coat every piece. You don't want to have under-seasoned pieces. And then we're good. Like that one right there. Ooh. Thank you. So when you're cooking, this is a cast iron pan, so this really applies to this rule. But you want your pan to be hot before you put stuff in it. So we're going to turn this front pan onto medium-ish heat. I'm going 6 out of 10. So not super hot, but also hot enough to cook stuff. So we're going to do the onions first. And for the onions, we're going to take a little bit of oil. Before we put the oil in, I like to always put a little bit of water in the pan. And when that water starts to boil in the pan, you know that your pan is ready for the oil. But never mix the water in the oil because that'll splatter up and burn you. Okay, so with pans that don't have rubber handles and aren't heat proof, especially with cast iron, you want to use one of these little rubber things. We got this at Walmart for like, I don't know, $7. And so it's not super expensive, but it will save your hand from being burnt. It adds a little, ooh, it's upside down. But it adds a little bit of grip. Oh, and as you can see, the pan is already getting hot, so we are just going to jump straight into this. My garlic. And feel free, if you think that it needs another spice, go ahead, use it. So this is hot, so I'm just going to let this water burn off. Now, a little bit of olive oil, maybe like a teaspoonful. Not a lot. And you're just going to let that get hot. I swirl it around a little bit. And you can test it by putting a little piece of onion in. You hear that? A little sizzle. That means that it's ready. Just throw all that in there. And we're going to tap with a spatula. Ooh. And we're just going to get the onions coated in oil. Make sure that nothing sticks and burns. Then we're going to leave it there for like, I don't know, 30 seconds. And then we're going to start moving it around. So when you're sauteing a vegetable like onions or mushrooms or anything like that, salt helps draw the moisture out, which helps it cook faster. Just a little bit of salt. We'll add the pepper and garlic in later so they don't burn. And I'll be back to you in a minute. So, as you guys saw, I turned down the heat. This is because cast iron retains a lot of heat, and electric stoves, they retain a lot of heat. So your pan can get too hot, so you want to, always keep an eye on that temperature. So as you can see, my onions are getting brownish. You don't want to cook them down a lot, but just enough. And this is the point where we're going to start adding a little bit of pepper. One sec. I don't like this shape. This is why you should use freshly ground. Now, just a little bit. You just want a little bit of flavor in these. You'll be able to smell them now. They're starting to smell really good. Yeah, they are. Right before the onions are done cooking, we're going to add a little bit of garlic. You do you. I'm using, like, I don't know, like half a teaspoon. Just a little bit. And you do this at the end, and you want to keep it moving, because garlic burns easily, and that's going to, when it burns, it gets like this really acidic taste. It's not pleasant. It's not good. So as you can see, you're literally just tossing these around, like maybe 20 seconds max. And then turn the stove off. Just for now, though. It's going to come back on later. Your onions are done. So you're going to grab, and you just want to throw those in there. And those should stay warm for the time needed. So I'm going to clean these little scraps out, and I'll be back for the chicken. So we're going to cook the chicken now. So just add a little bit of oil. Then the same amount as before, maybe a little bit more. And we're just going to let that heat up. Now, it's heating up pretty quickly because the pan is still hot. So we are just going to drop our chicken in here. And it's not going to take a long time, especially since this is thin cut chicken. So we're just going to drop this in here. All in there. And you want to get a little crust on the chicken. You want it to get brown. You see that little brown bit? Little brown bit. You'll start to see them more often. But that's what you want in chicken. You keep it moving if you need to. But it's better to just let every piece find a little home and just keep it there. Yeah. Get it all cooked. So maybe give this like, I don't know, a minute and then flip it over. For a thicker piece of chicken, you would want to do maybe 3-ish minutes, 4 minutes per side. And a good way to check with a thicker piece of chicken is just cut it open and look in the center. If it's still pink and raw like this, it's not cooked. If it looks white, like you'll see in a minute, if it's white like this, it's cooked. But, you know, it's better to overcook than to undercook your chicken. So you see these little brown bits? And the brown is what makes the flavor. Brown is good. You want the little brown bit. It's not burnt. It's a lot better. Now, you guys saw right here, little piece of chicken stuck on there. That's what happens when you cook your chicken too early. It sticks to the pan. So, just let it get that crust before you try to move it. You just toss it around a little bit. It's fine. Let every piece get brown. And once you start seeing a lot of things getting brown, you know, you can just toss everything around. Yeah. Because it'll all get, you know, cooked just fine. It's starting to smell really good now. You guys will like it if you cook this. How am I going to get this off?
Well, that'll be in the cast iron cleaning video.
So, this is optional, but if you do want a little bit of spice, you know, just a little bit of chili powder, like maybe this much of one chili powder, and this much of another. And of course, if you don't have two, you can just use 2 times of one little handful. So I'm thinking, oh, it got in my throat. Maybe like half a teaspoon of chili powder, because you want this to be about the chicken, but you know, chili powder also. And then paprika. We have smoked paprika. I highly recommend. It's really good. Just a little bit in there. You know, you don't want to turn it super red, but you want to know there's a little spice in there. We're just going to let that finish cooking, and we're good. So our chicken is done. So I'm just going to grab a little plate. Not the same one that I used before. Raw meat, especially raw poultry, is not safe to eat. So if any raw chicken juice gets on your cooked chicken and you eat it, you know, salmonella. Not fun. Just right on the plate. And this cast iron stuff will build up on it. And for our next step, we don't want that. So I am just going to turn the heat off. And I have a little tool. You guys can use crumpled up aluminum foil or steel wool or something. So we're going to let this cook off again. Now this is going to be on low heat, like maybe 3 out of 10. Now our next step is optional, but it's really advised. It's just, you'll see, We have our tortillas. So they're good on their own, but if you really want to, you know, improve your taco game, you gotta toast those tortillas. You're already fully cooked when you get them, but a little bit of toasting never hurt anybody. So for this, we want a really thin layer of oil. Just a little paper towel. Crumple it up. Add some oil. It's going to get in the pan a little bit. And we just want a thin layer. That thin layer is going to help toast up the tortillas without getting them soggy in oil. We're not actually looking to toast the tortillas. Sort of, but these don't need oil. A large part of tortillas is fat. So it already has enough oil to caramelize and turn brown. Maybe 20 seconds. You can see that steam starting to rise off of it. That's what you're looking for. Then, those little bits. It doesn't have to be super toasted, but when it's warm, it's more pliable, and you know, it's not hot and cold. It's good. So these are just warmed up, and they start to get crispy. So we're just gonna do a bunch of these, and I'll be back to you once we have. We're doing 2 per person, and we have 4 people. So I'm gonna do 8 tortillas, and I'll be back with you guys. We have all of our ingredients for the tacos. We forgot to mention the cheese. It's optional. If you want cheese on your taco, go ahead and do it. So, we have the onions, the chicken, the warm tortillas, hot sauce, lemon or lime juice. We're using lime, and also the cheese. And there's a little bit of salt on there. Get that off there. So I'm going to make one. You guys can make as many as you want. So we're going to take 1 taco. I'm going to do a little bit of onion. Just a little bit. It doesn't have to be pretty, but if you can make it pretty, you know, props to you. Maybe like, I don't know, 4 pieces of chicken. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the bigger your tortillas are, the more chicken you can fit on. A little bit of lime juice. Some cheese. And just a little bit of hot sauce. If you want more hot sauce, go ahead. I said 2 per person. I made enough for 4 people, so that's 8 tacos. So here it is. You know, enjoy it.